Hello everyone, welcome back to another weekend of the Osumania 7 Key World Cup 2024. We're here with the semi-finals matches. Approaching the end of this tournament, only really strong teams are left here now, and we've got another banger here between two very high seeds in the losers bracket, Australia versus United States. I'm Potassium F, commentating alongside SurfChew85. How are you looking at this match?
Well, what a way to open this weekend. Two teams that are, let's say, they have a pretty good history with 7K. Australia obviously carrying the likes of Luca, Okfor, and with other players that are not in their current roster. United States as well. One of the stronger 7K sides from the Western Hemisphere, carrying a few decent players as well, and they're going to be playing a match. And I'd say it's pretty much a nightmare, not only because of time zones, but because of the strategies that need to be employed here.
Yeah, this has definitely been playing at a bit of a weird time, like an unusual time to see, because I believe one of the United States players, I think Bunsen, is living in Hawaii currently, which kind of messes with the time zones quite a lot because you have to deal with a fairly large spread. But here it is. We've got two very high seed, number 8 and number 10. Australia actually seeding higher for one of the first times, I think, ever. I think we are going to be seeing a pretty straightforward strategy from both of the teams. Australia should be aiming for the LN picks overall. We can see they've already protected LN4 right away, while United States, they protected Rice 4 actually, the Jack map. So we might be able to see that Osu original coming out at some point.
It's a pretty straightforward. As you mentioned, there are 3 OC originals in this pool. That will be Rice 4 Voyage, Rice 6 Kagaribi, and our tiebreaker, Symphony of the Lost Souls. We do hope that all of the 3 get played in a match this weekend. And I hope maybe 3 of them as well get played on this match.
Yeah, we'll see. And actually, it looks like United States going for a fairly, I'll say a bit of a different ban than what I was expecting here. They're going to go for the hybrids, one of the hybrids here. And I guess this one, maybe they're just struggling to be able to perform physically on hybrid 1 in particular there, which is the reason why they would ban this one out instead of the LNs. I do think Australia should be looking at those LNs
Indeed,
fairly favorably.
Hybrid 1 is arguably one of the most physical picks in the pool. And for a team where your opponent has players of a certain caliber.
Yeah, and we're talking about physicality as well. Australia being this seed is mostly because they have had a massive upgrade in their physical, their high-end ability, with Oct4 kind of shooting up in the past year and Luca rejoining the team as well, while United States, on the other hand, their physicality is kind of a little bit weaker than last year's, in particular, missing the likes of Alta, most notably. But United States are going to get the first pick, and it looks like they are going straight with Rice 1. This is the type of map, the speed stream pick, that a lot of people have been banning out, so we don't actually get to see this slot in particular being played much this year.
And well, you mentioned the players, like the players and all. I kind of want to say that Australia practically has like one of the best possible rosters right now, which is a pretty interesting dynamic. You mentioned before we went live about Australia not finishing higher than the United States, and for almost every single World Cup that has happened, regardless of mode.
Yeah, I was struggling to kind of think of any World Cup ever, because it feels like United States always the team that performs very high. Australia has very rarely placed highly in any World Cup. Of course, OWC last year was a big highlight for that team. But this is a particular Australian team that I think can go very far. We're going to be peeking into some of the more late game abilities of these players now that we're in semi-finals. And this is going to be a good start here to showcase both of these teams' Rice abilities, because it is getting a lot faster, a lot harder here. And it's going to be much less about getting the full combos, more about the accuracy as well as we're going on. It looks like we actually have a disconnect early on here.
Yeah, it does seem like, yeah. We should be repeating the start here because it's a very early disconnect. Kind of unfortunate. But anyways, more about the start. You already see from the difficulty name delay. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone getting jump scared by the abort as it happens. Hopefully it doesn't mess up anyone too bad, but this one is a fairly short one as well, so we are going to see individual misses mattering a little bit more than some of the other picks. But that said, at this stage, you shouldn't be expecting too many full combos coming out. As we're getting into it now. So it is going to be My Angel Zila and Oct4. I think for Australia, that is going to be the two Rice players that you're going to be seeing most often. Bunsen, one of the best players for United States, going to be staying in, I imagine, for most maps. And we have Potato coming in for this one as well. And starting off immediately with some of these delays, some of these speed stream patterns, very rolly, and a very early miss from My Angel Zila. Going to give United States a little bit of a lead. But it actually looks like the accuracy lead is in favor of Australia by a tiny bit early on. That's keeping the lead pretty small. And all four players building up the accuracies now. The United States solidifying their lead by a few thousand points only, so nothing too large just yet, nothing to feel too safe about. And as we can see that, Potato finds a miss, and so does Bunsen as well. Both of the United States players finding those misses. There's only one full combo left, and Potato finds another one. Bunsen again. And this lead has all of a sudden ballooned up to 20,000 points. That last full combo there, Oct manages to find a miss right before the break. Unfortunate timing, but very clean miss overall. And Australia with that accuracy lead on top of the combos that they're holding. As we're getting into the second half here, United States going to have to hope for some pretty big drops from Australia's side, but Bunsen finds another one there. My Angel Zila dropping that massive combo, but a fairly clean drop as well. Accuracy is still in favor of Australia's. Oct4 is holding the 99.5 just about, but both Australian players finding the miss. As we're pausing here, Potato does trade one of them, and this lead feels like it's staying fairly stable. Misses being traded back and forth. My Angel Zila dropping quite a lot, but the lead is slowly changing over to United States side. It feels like it might actually switch over at the end of the map.
Well, there's still enough time in the chart. There's a lot of notes left here, but Australia is doing just enough.
Oh, and 3,000 points at the end. The chain misses at the end, I think, by My Angel Zila almost was enough to switch it over, but not quite. They hold on to that lead just barely, and it's a very, very early breakpoint here for Australia on the United States' first pick.
It's a breakpoint that I think Australia desperately needs if they want to make a pretty big advantage early on in this match, because there's still a lot of Rice picks remaining, and I think the US has a few more comfortable picks even outside the Rice pool.
Yeah, US definitely do have a lot of ability. We saw they can definitely hang with the Rice picks. I think United States can definitely win some of those later down the line, but Australia's picks are going to be the LN first and foremost, with Luca in particular being the heavy hitter here, being switched in for the LN. This is the Protect from Team Australia as well. I do expect Mine Josino to be switching out for Oct 4.
I would presume so. You did mention that Zila is a bit more of a Rice player than an LN player. And I think Australia has Offer and Ruka as their main LN duo for the most part. We see Macho and Bunsen here for the US. Both very good, like very good LN players. And we've seen a few performances already from these two from the previous matches over the past few weekends. And speaking of Ruka's appearance, does remind me, happy Lunar New Year to whoever celebrates it.
Yeah, but there was a little bit of a scare just before this match. I think Luca only just got home like 10 minutes ago because of being stuck at a Lunar New Year dinner. But just making it on time to the match is very good for Australia because I do think does boost their overall team performance quite a lot with him on the team. And Mashu, of course, being one of the core LN players for United States as well, being switched in for this one.
And for the United States, if they want to, they might want to claim a breakpoint there, especially with this way the chart is. I mean, this chart is made. There's a lot of shields, lots of places for any of these players really to find any mistakes, and they might want to take advantage of the fact that Ruka might not have that much of a warm up going into this match.
Yeah, so Ruka with a very early miss there.
Yeah, and the US just needs to maintain a certain level of consistency. They're well within striking distance in case something happens to their Australian counterparts. As here we go with the more intense section. Everyone coming in pretty cleanly here. Bunsen and Okfor still maintaining the full combos. Actually, Okfor having the better accuracy between the two full combos. Masho, on the other hand, actually carrying the lowest accuracy in the entire lobby. But with Luca's miss, it should give Bunsen immediately hating that. I was about to mention that the US should have a good chance at picking the pace. Well. Yeah. Consecutive misses. There you go.
Multiple misses coming out from the side of US as well, and their accuracy is also tanking. We can see both of their accuracies below 99, whereas Australia is still holding the 299s on their side, of course, with the okay, I'm not going to name that. I'll leave it a little bit longer, but halfway through the map and we still have one player doing well on Team Australia.
Actually, both of them actually doing very well. Never mind. Mashu also trading that. As you mentioned many times on the previous World Cup, streaks do favor the team in the lead, and Mashu finding yet another miss, and I think this is practically it unless we see a massive meltdown here from the Australians.
The full combo from Oct is lost there with another miss as well, but they're fairly clean, and we can see the accuracy still very high for Team Australia overall, whereas it looks like Mashu's starting to struggle a little bit more and more with that act dropping down to 98.4. And this lead, 14,000 points, still not massive in favor of Australia. We've seen this same level of lead being depleted in an instant just in the previous map alone. Bunsen with another miss, trading with Oct. It looks like this lead is going to start stabilizing a little bit as we're getting into the very last section of this map here.
Well, Bunsen finding yet another miss, and that just gives the Australians a bit more of a breathing room. And with a few seconds remaining this chart, the US needs a very massive breakdown from their opponents, which I just don't see happening anymore.
Yeah, Australia looking comfortable in this outro. But even individual misses are not going to be enough. This lead has grown to 20,000 points as a couple more misses kept coming in towards the end there for Team USA. And it's going to be a fairly decently comfortable point win for Team Australia. They're going to solidify their lead 2-0 after that early break point.
Ruka ending out to be the highest accuracy in this entire lobby.
And Luca immediately saying, I need warm-up, and then leaving the lobby to go warm up, presumably.
Oh, yeah.
Assuming that United States are going to be picking Rice here, which I guess is a pretty good assumption. I expect we're going to see My Angel Zila switching in pretty soon once the pick comes through.
I do see that. US, I would think that they should consider maybe Rise 3 or Rise 4. There you go, Rise 3. They're going for tinnitus. The
Yeah, I think this
denser,
is
I mean, the faster of the two core streams.
this is definitely a good one here, especially seeing that Australia banned Rise 2, the other chord stream pick. I don't think Australia, compared to some of the other teams we have in this tournament, Australia probably not quite as comfortable with the chord stream patterns, or at least with accuracy in particular here with some of these. So we'll see how this one goes. This is 3 minutes long as well, so it's fairly stamina draining, this one.
Yeah, it's a pretty long pick for MWC 7K standards. We just have to note, like, the longest pick we ever had is still under 4 minutes, and it's actually Hybrid 3 in this pool. As we mentioned in Map Pool Showcase last weekend.
Yeah, we keeping things nice and approachable for the players to practice comfortably. Don't want to destroy their hands too much. At least until, you know, Grand Finals pool.
Grand Finals, yeah. But then you realize that there are some like there are some players here that kind of find the Grand Finals pool still, you know, like 99able.
Yeah, no, 99. Well, we'll see what the Grand Finals pool is in a couple weeks. But for now, this is going to be United States. They're going to have to get on the board right now if they want to stay in this one. Don't want to let Australia get too much momentum when they still have all of their other LN picks on the table.
And I think this is their best chance to regain a point, especially if they're they need to flex a bit more of their muscle really on these Rise picks. I mean, they already saw if they just let loose for a tiny bit. I mean, we saw it from Rise 1, and it was pretty close. And here we go with these 10 score teams. Oct 4 finding the first drop of this chart.
We saw in Rise 1, both teams have the propensity to find these chain misses, and right now, United States, both players finding the misses there to trade out Oct 4s from before, and Australia's going to actually start to build off a little bit of a lead because of that.
I was about to mention Xena's combo, and as I was about to, they drop Oct 4 as well. That should reduce the lead Australia has, and Oct 4 actually has a pretty massive drop there, giving the lead to the US, but Mashu finds a trade.
Oh, what lead! Look at this!
This is really... Well, there you go, Oct 4 finding it under the drop. But you saw how close that was when everything was pretty much even.
Yeah, both teams looking like they're not too comfortable holding on to combo for extended periods of time here. Trade of misses between Bunsen and Myanjalzila. And it looks like the only thing that's keeping United States in the lead right now is the accuracy, specifically on Bunsen. 99.38 is by far the highest in the lobby right now as Oct 4 manages to get back up to 99%. So 7,000, but that lead, I think, can switch in the matter of seconds when we get into the second half of this map. Still so much to go.
Yeah, I mean, with the style of these charts, you'd expect the second half or the final third with chart being particularly denser. That's what we saw at the very beginning, especially for these more stamina-oriented picks. And here we go. We're starting to pick up again on that density. Bunsen getting almost 99.5%, which is a really good... Alright.
But it is traded here by Myanjalzila, but Bunsen finding chain misses now, Mashu as well. Wait, this lead has switched entirely in favor of Australia, but now 1,000 points is all that separates the two teams. Misses coming in from both Bunsen and Myanjalzila, but it's favoring Team Australia. The ACK lead is gone now from Bunsen.
Well, Mashu and Zila actually finding a pretty bad sequence of misses, if I'd say, but Bunsen finding yet another one. I did mention the density of this chart picks up practically near the ending, like the second half of this chart, and you saw the effect of that.
And I didn't want to say anything during that, but Oct4, the only one to hold out through that entire second half of the map, 2,400 combo at the end. That is the main difference maker between these two teams in that second half. And it's going to be Australia winning their third in the row, the second break point of this match.
And Australia is in prime position to pull ahead just a tad bit more, and I think that also opens up the pool, the rice pool for their taking as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's really close still on these rice picks. Overall, United States, they can definitely win some of these at some point, but Australia is just getting the better end of just the end of these maps. And they still have the LN to fall back on. They're going to go with Ghost straight away. And I like this pick here. This one is more of the density.
Yeah. I think this is Australia's best pick possible. Just go for a pick where you'll just overwhelm your opponents really with the density. I mean, we already saw what happened on LN4. This is a bit different of this. The style of charting here is a bit more. It's a bit different, but the density is right there, and the speed is a factor as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna surely be seeing Luca make a reappearance here, as well as Oct4. Gonna be switching out. Don't expect my Angel Zila to be playing this. Mashu and Bunsen should also be staying in for Team United States as well. But in the background as well, wonder how much practice Luca's managed to get from that just one map of time in between the picks.
There you go. Oct4 is right back in. We should be seeing a swap in a few moments. Oh, there you go. There you go. Ruka comes in. Now I'm pretty excited of the team scores that we will be seeing here.
Uh, 1v3 suggestion in the chat. I don't think that works in Mania. Maybe if it was standard, that might be a thing.
Maybe, yeah, like three lower level, like players of a relatively lower level than the guy who's pretty much high level.
Yeah, just get 3 million points, right?
Yeah, not too much of a pretty easy job. Yeah.
But let's see this one, how this one plays out. Remember, United States do need to win 2 more breakpoints. Though they need to win 2 breakpoints at some point in this match if they want to tie things up again. And all Australia needs to do is win their own picks.
I say we should look at how the score difference will be coming in, especially when the chart becomes a bit more denser. Like, not yet this part. I mean, this is pretty easy to choke, but I don't think anyone should be losing combo here for now. And you see how close it is.
Oh, I can't believe no one. That was a prime setup for a curse. No one ended up taking the bait.
Again, I said it. We should be expecting FCs on that section, and just like, you're not an LNT. Well, there you go. There you go.
Okay,
Finding a drop.
Later on, this is United States actually getting a little bit of a lead, but actually the accuracy on Team Australia just a little bit better off of Luca holding 99.68. Now we're getting into the denser part here. Oct4 with another miss.
That not really something you'd want, especially going into this denser section. Oct4 actually finding a consecutive drop right there. But even with that, matching with Bunsen finding a full reset, but even without that, Ruka is just carrying the accuracy low for Australia and still maintaining the lead.
Yeah, even Oct4 right now, despite the misses, still holding higher accuracy than both United States players. There goes Luca's full combo. Also drops a lot of accuracy, another miss coming there. This lead is actually going to start shrinking quite a lot. Only 2,000 points, not very far.
But accuracy-wise, it still averages out. Australia is still with a slight lead, and this should at least be recoverable. There's still half the chart remaining. The patterning doesn't get easier though. Here we go with this 60-minute section, finding a full reset on Australia. Mashu finding a trade there, Bunsen as well, and this should flicker. Bunsen finding yet another drop. Australia reclaims the lead, but I don't think it's safe at all.
Yeah, all 4 players becoming victims of that one long part there. A lot of accuracy drops across the board as well. Actually, Oct4 the only one to maintain above 99% as Mashu finds another break. The league going to start growing in favor of Australia again, but we've seen how quickly things can spiral in the opposite direction. And there's still one more of those dense sections coming up now.
It isn't as bad as what we have for the guitar solo, but it's dense. It's really dense, and we've seen all of these players really struggle in that section. We see Oct4 and Bunsen finding a trade, Oct4 finding yet another drop, but the lead is just shrinking just a tiny bit. Uruka and Oct4's accuracy really pulling ahead for Australia. Mashu finding yet another drop. This might be it, who knows?
This is definitely accuracy difference right here. All 14,000 of these points. There's both Australian players now above 99.1, both players in the United States below 99%, not managing to hold up the same level of accuracy. And now we can see these combos also starting to build up for Team Australia. 3,000 combo on Luca.
And that's pretty much it. Australia will be grabbing their 4th consecutive point of the match.
And it's something about the end of these maps, man. Australia just locks in for the second half of all of these close maps and manages to pull out these combos out of nowhere. But yeah, 4-0. Despite so many close calls, the United States almost managing to win like at least 3 of these maps.
Well, if you're the United States, I think you should consider picking Rice 4. I would think. And there you go, the first OSU original pick for this entire World Cup.
Yeah, the Osu original by Sidosis. And I think we're going to get a couple swap outs here. Luca swapping out for My Angel Zila. I wonder, are we going to see Mashu still in for this one? But this is also, Chord Jack being fairly risky overall. We are getting into the much harder territory. 132 BPM is nothing to scoff at. Definitely entering the territory where some of these players might be struggling just to keep combo on, so might not be as much of a ratio battle as we've seen in some of the past matches.
And here we go with the Voyage. The Chord Jack pick. While I don't think we'll be seeing absurd team scores compared to what we'll be seeing later this weekend, but it doesn't really matter in the context of this match. You just need to get a higher total. And you need to limit any of these mistakes. Zila finding the first drop here.
It's a very early miss. First 400 notes not going to be quite as impactful as later on, and Mashu finding a miss there as well. That's going to mean a little bit more, but Mashu holds a stronger accuracy overall, which is going to help United States stay in the lead. Bunsen as well. That is a very nice starting ratio.
Yeah, 99.97 here for Bunsen. Pretty much making a difference really here for the US. But this chart does get a bit more denser. It doesn't get too crazy, but sometimes patterns like these, monotonic patterning kind of trips you up in a certain way. As we see there, Bunsen and Mashu finding misses of their own, which gives Australia, I'd say this is not yet a safe lead.
Oh, not at all. The accuracy actually is, I think, still in favor of United States, because Bunsen's miss was one of the cleanest misses you could possibly get. 99.87 still above everyone else in the lobby as far as accuracy is concerned. So United States have the AC lead still. And I think, even if no misses come through, with this kind of accuracy, United States might even possibly be able to bring back the score lead by the end of the map.
Well, we'll see though once the density picks up yet again in the final third of this chart. Right now, right now they just want to gain as much accuracy as possible, just in case something happens near the end. And here we go. We're slowly building up.
Bunsen reached 99.9 again, despite the miss before. And we can see, look, this lead, it's shrinking real fast now. Mashu's accuracy is back up to the same level as Oct4. And it switches over right as Zila finding the miss there. That's going to be United States retaking the lead despite having more misses.
It's a pretty clean job from Zila for pretty much. But right now, the US needs to maintain this consistency right now because any drop from their side might switch this up yet again. Zila finding yet another drop as the core jacks become a bit more dense. And
Mashu does find a drop.
But I don't think that matters right now, especially with Oct4 finding a drop now. And I think the US will be claiming. Yeah. And the US should be claiming their first point of this match now.
Very good protect and the end from Team United States. They're going to win on the core jack pick. Fairly close in the middle, but managing to hold on in the second half just a bit better. Bunsen with that incredible accuracy. Just the one miss, unfortunately, but no 200s. 1 to 20s, 1 to 23 ratio just about there.
Yeah, that's a certified core jack score. And there you go. Immediately, Australia going for synthesis. The longest pick of the entire 7K World Cup this year, as of this round, and going for one of the hardest, basically the hardest start of the entire pool as well, outside the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think Australia, despite having 2 LN maps up, I think United States definitely showed some pretty scary scores actually on LN1, LN2 in the past couple weeks. So even though Australia, it should be very strong with them, I think it's not something that they want to be risking right now. Maybe leave that towards one of the last picks. And wanting to go for hybrids instead, which I think Australia has been looking very good on so far in the tournament. Especially some of the harder ones, I think they're going to fare even better on.
Man, I've been thinking of a certain Bunsen burner joke for the past few minutes now, and I just can't say anything, huh?
You just can't think of anything? Can't think of a way to tie it all together?
Well, Bunsen burn. and continue this... and continue the synthesis of a certain chemical called dopamine. Ah, that's awful. That's awful, yeah.
Oh no. You're cooking a little bit too hard there. You're cooking a little bit too hard.
Yeah, synthesizing a word too many. So while we're on a break in the action, just a reminder, Osimania 7K World Cup banners are up on the Osu store. You can synthesize your bank account and buy all 24 banners if you want.
Okay, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, go do what Surfju said.
Yeah, this is what you get for having me commentate this early in the day. It's so funny. Anyways, here we go. Synthesis. Back to serious mode. Here we go. Ruka and Oct4. Obviously, their LN team coming in. We actually see Potato for the US this time around.
Yeah, Potato switching in. And
yeah,
this one is going to be interesting because we haven't seen any hybrids just yet through this match in particular, but we have seen United States be very competitive on both the Rice and also one of those LN picks also they were looking very good on. So they definitely have the skill sets available to be able to play these hybrids at a high level. But this map in particular, we'll have to see, because as you said, this is one of the hardest maps in the pool, if not the hardest map in the pool, aside from that tiebreaker.
And the length does play into the difficulty as well. Immediately with these pretty big hits. Ruka finding the first drop and Potato immediately fading. Surprisingly, Bunsen actually carrying the highest accuracy in this pick.
Yeah, but another miss from Potato. Oh, that's a really big act drop as well. Down to 98.8, and that's going to give Australia a bit of a lead. Still one full combo for each team, but it's Luca beating out Potato. That's the main source of this lead right now.
Now here we go with a bit more of these technical release sections, like these patterns that are just not friendly to the hands. But they are finding like consecutive misses here, and I think at least the battle of the second players, as it stands, will be the main difference here. Bunsen dropping their combo as well, and Awk4, yeah, trying to prevent something to happen. But they're finding 2 consecutive misses. Actually, was that 3 maybe? And Australia will be just stretching this lead.
Yeah, that's a full team wipe for Team United States. Oct4 finds a miss, Luca finds a miss as well. All 4 players resetting their combos. That is just fine for Australia, though. They are comfortably in the lead for now.
Oh, Oct4. Unfortunate drop here on the LN coordination section, but that doesn't really matter.
It's very
their lead.
Deceptively easy in 7K to miss during some of those LN breaks, because you do loosen up a little bit too much when the coordination is still fairly hard to hit. Tato finding another miss there. 36,000 is the point lead, and at a long map, 36,000 is a lot of points. Even though Luca is missing occasionally here, they're all being traded out on the side of United States.
Yeah, like at this point, you don't even need, you need someone from Australia to find a very massive breakdown somewhere in this chart. I mean, it could happen, especially once we see the final dense section of this chart, but considering how much both Rook and Awkward have been holding on very well to this chart, but either Bunsen have their work cut out for them.
Another trade of misses here from Potato and Luca. Those two have been trading all map long, but the accuracy is really what's preventing United States from being able to come back right now. Potato at 98.3 is not managing to match up quite against the Australian team. All 3 players other than Luca missing there on the same note, it looked like.
But I think regardless of what happens now, unless something tragic happens to the Australians, I don't think the US will be able to claim this point anymore. Looking at the advantage, Australia just pulling ahead a bit more.
Yeah,
almost
58,000.
Like 60,000.
That's not recoverable at all this late into the map. There is no chance.
Well, we hit 70,000 this... Wow. I think this is one of the most lopsided charts we've had the entire World Cup.
Oh, we've seen some funny ones, I think. But yeah, definitely in one of these regular picks, 80,000 points just under. And Australia definitely showcasing their physical capabilities. And every time we get into one of these, like, you know, harder hybrid type maps, I feel like Luca and Ox score is always exactly the same almost.
Yeah.
As it ends up being here once again.
The consistency between Rook and Awk4 is pretty absurd. While the US still has a chance to extend this match, they just need to, you know, score 4 consecutive points in a pool that isn't exactly the most open for them right now.
Yeah, 4 in a row is what United States are looking for. They need to win both of their last Rise picks. There's 2 Rise picks left. They can pick both of them. But they are also going to need to win both of Australia's picks. And you have to imagine, you know, one of the LNs is coming out at some point next for Australia. And
there you
Rise
go, there
6.
How could it be? The other regular pick, also original for this pool. Only a tiebreaker left to be played here on stream. Part of me hopes that it's this match.
Yeah, so we're seeing both of them. Both of the ones that are possible to at least see for now. Of the Osu originals being played on stream here. Mixed Rise coming out here. I'm interested in, you know, United States choosing not to pick the technical map. Because I do think Australia, out of all their maps that they've played so far in this World Cup, I think Tech has definitely looked like one of their most shaky skill sets. But I assume United States opting not to pick that until very last kind of indicates to me that maybe they're also not that comfortable, which might not be the best sign for them going forward in this match. But They are, of course, going to have to win all of them anyway. So it is going to come down to this one here. If Australia can win another breakpoint here, they are just going to win the match outright.
But I think at least for the US, like the silver lining here for this start in particular is that this isn't as super technical as what we had, for Rise 5. It's like, I'd say this is actually one of the more straightforward picks in the entire pool. But again, they just need to get that consistency going. Like, they cannot afford to find any mistakes, any misses really, especially against a team that has shown that they can compete, they can keep toe to toe against them.
We're seeing Potato staying in here, but finding a rough start there with a few misses. mania trades one of them there, but still advantage over to Australia. And actually, wait, Bunson's crushing everyone else right now. But
no, well, that's a good one.
Finds a miss there, unfortunately breaks the FC, but so does Oct. So no FCs on the board anymore, which seems like it actually favors Australia at the end of things, even though Bunson's still with the highest accuracy. Although now that mania missed and Oct, there's the lead in favor of the United States.
And right now, I'd say, if the US right now hold on to this lead now, like especially for Potato, if you're Potato, you cannot afford to find the same thing that happened to you in the intro section. But now we're here in the more delay section. Everyone is practically stabilized Zila and Bunsen trading the misses. But that's
now,
still...
Look at Potato's accuracy, managing to raise all the way back up above mania now. Bunsen drops quite a lot of act right there to match Oct 4, but accuracy in favor overall to United States, just barely. He's giving them a 4,000 point lead, but that's a double miss. It's going to go in favor of Team Australia as all three players you can see there, Zila, Potato, and Bunsen finding the misses. And don't say it again, it's another Oct 4 carry moment in the second half of the map.
Yeah, like the density here is favoring Oct 4, still carrying a pretty massive combo. And I don't think even if Oct 4 finds a drop somewhere, it would be enough to switch it up, especially with a lot more of these misses coming from the US.
What is going on here? Act drops from both US players. Oct finally breaks, but it looks like it's just too late for US to come back in this one. And what is up with Oct 4 at the end of these close maps? 36,000 points.
Wow. And Australia will be advancing to tomorrow.
Yeah, 6-1. So many of these points felt like they could have been won by US, but the combo at the end of these maps, just the clutch factor coming in favor of Team Australia, winning through this one in particular. Unfortunately for USA, they are going to be eliminated here in the losers bracket in semifinals, while Australia gets to move on. Not quite making finals just yet. Australia are going to have to win one more match to be able to move on to next week. And I believe tomorrow, it will be Australia versus the winner of Japan versus Russia.
And I think that is going to be... I think that's going to be one of the best matches of the weekend as well. We have a lot of good matches this weekend overall. But again, congratulations to Australia, extending their tournament run by at least one more match. But regardless of that, they will be awaiting for a pretty difficult opponent, regardless of what we'll be seeing in whoever's the other side of their matchup. Anyways, I think, what, is this just less than an hour from now?
No, it's going to be 1 hour and 45 minutes from now. It always rounds down on this schedule page here. So 11 UTC, so 1 hour 45 minutes. So we have a bit of time until then. Make sure you go and, I don't know, have a nap, go get something to eat, do whatever you want to do in the meantime. But make sure you're back here at 11 UTC because this is This match coming up is also going to be an exciting one, and is going to decide who ends up versing Australia tomorrow. So make sure you stick around for that one, but until then, we'll see you next time.